One of the most understudied and under-talked about ideas that Vladimir Lenin wrote about was what a revolutionary situation is. And I think that it's obviously so important because it's the moment that we are all working towards. It's what we're organizing for. And we need to be able to recognize when a revolutionary situation is happening, right? That's when the door is ajar for us to strike. That is when the iron is hot, right? Check it. You can find this for free on Marxist.org. It is The Collapse of the Second International by Vladimir Lenin. To the Marxists, it is indisputable that a revolution is impossible without a revolutionary situation. Furthermore, it is not every revolutionary situation that leads to revolution. What, generally speaking, are the symptoms of a revolutionary situation? We shall certainly not be mistaken if we indicate the following three major symptoms. 1. When it is impossible for the ruling classes to maintain their rule without any change. When there is a crisis in one form or another among the upper classes, a crisis in the policy of the ruling class, leading to a fissure through which the discontent and indignation of the oppressed classes burst forth. For a revolution to take place, it is usually insufficient for the lower classes not to want to live in the old way. It is also necessary that the upper classes should be unable to live in the old way. 2. When the suffering and want of the oppressed classes have grown more acute than usual. 3. When as a consequence of the above causes, there is a considerable increase in the activity of the masses, who uncomplainingly allow themselves to be robbed in peacetime, but in turbulent times are drawn both by all the circumstances of the crisis and by the upper classes themselves into independent historical action. Without these objective changes, which are independent of the will, not only of individual groups and parties, but even of individual classes, a revolution, as a general rule, is impossible. And Lenin goes on to point out some periods in German and Russian history where revolutionary situations were present, but revolutions did not happen. Lenin goes on to say, why was that? It was because it is not every revolutionary situation that gives rise to a revolution. Revolution arises only out of a situation in which the above-mentioned objective changes are accompanied by a subjective change, namely, the ability of the revolutionary class to take revolutionary mass action strong enough to break or dislocate the government, which never, not even in a period of crisis, falls if it was not toppled over. And now I'm skipping some of the texts, and Lenin continues, what we are discussing is the indisputable and fundamental duty of all socialists, that of revealing to the masses the existence of a revolutionary situation, explaining its scope and depth, arousing the proletariat's revolutionary consciousness and revolutionary determination, helping it to go over to revolutionary action and forming. For that purpose, organizations suited to the revolutionary situation. No influential or responsible socialist has ever dared to feel doubt that this is the duty of the socialist parties. Without spreading or harboring the least illusions of the Basel Manifesto spoke specifically of this duty of the socialists. To rouse and to stir up the people and not to lull them with chauvinism. To take advantage of the crisis so as to hasten the downfall of capitalism and to be guided by the examples of the Commune and of the October-December 1905. The present party's failure to perform that duty meant their treachery, political death, renunciation of their own role, and desertion to the side of the bourgeoisie.